Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be the cure for little man syndrome. I got an email here from a guy who is really insecure about his height, and he wants to know what to do about it. And if you want to know what is little man syndrome, I remember when I was growing up, my mother used to say this when we'd encounter guys that were just short and they seem to be like pissed off at the world, maybe because they're short or they feel insecure about it. And I even had a high school buddy that was like that, good-looking dude. Everybody liked him. He was only like 5'1", 5'2", and he was scrappy. He was always getting into fights. Like he'd be in a bar, and somebody'd bump into him. He'd yell, "Hey, what the hell?" and a fight would ensue. And I remember one time, this is probably, this is a little over 20 years ago, probably about 21 years ago. And this was when he was about 3 years younger than me. We all went to the same high school. And I used to see him out, and like downtown area, that kind of thing. And I remember hanging out, having some beers with him, shooting the shit. And because he hung out with a lot of the same people that I did, knew we had similar friends in common. And then I remember like 2 weeks later, he was in a bar up at Florida State University, and some dude was, he had too much drink, and then some other guy bumped into him, and anyways, he started fighting with the guy, and then they went outside, and the dude hit him, and just like knocked him out cold, and as he fell back, his head hit the pavement, fucking killed him. And 2 weeks later, after having a beer with him, I was going to a funeral. And so that's obviously a pretty extreme example, but this was a guy who was insecure about himself, and he let his insecurities get the best of him, and it cost him his life. So obviously that's a pretty extreme example, but this is a pretty extreme idea here because we're dealing with limiting beliefs, fears, doubts that you have about yourself. And so let's read his email. He says, "Corey, I've enjoyed your book, How to Be a 3% Man, and watching your videos immensely. I have not seen you cover something that plagues me, and that is height. I am 5'4", and have never really had any long-term relationships as an adult. I'm 40 now. I have been great friends with a lady who recently had a divorce after 24 years and hoped to start dating her. Turns out that she started dating another guy 2 weeks ago, and he is bigger than I am, 6 feet, and she is 5'4", 5'5" herself. I can't help but think that hurt my chances." And I would say what hurt your chances is sitting around waiting on this particular woman to become available so you could go and date her, as opposed to just inviting her to meet you out for drinks, taking her out on a date, and going from there. But instead you beat it around the bush, and she's probably known you for a while, and so she probably looks at you and thinks of you as just a really nice guy and a nice friend. And so that's part of your problem, is that you're not gonna get any better, and your skills aren't gonna get better if you're not talking to interactive women. And being hung up on some chick that you've known for 24 years is just a complete waste of your time. You need to be talking to women left and right wherever you go, whether you're standing in line at Starbucks, or you're at the grocery store, or you're walking through the mall, or you're walking down the street, or you're at a party, or you're at a bar or a club with your buddies. I mean, whatever it is that you do socially, wherever you go, you should be able to strike up conversation with people. And if you feel a little socially awkward and that's a little uncomfortable, maybe you're shy, then you should go to YouTube and go and watch my video called Improving Your Social Skills. It's called Improving Your Social Skills. And so if you just Google that, or Google Corey Wayne Improving Your Social Skills, that video will come up, and will teach you a simple way that you can go to the mall and practice your social skills and get comfortable just striking up conversations with random strangers. Because the idea is, when you're in the habit of going through life and talking to people wherever you go, it's not a big deal. And then when you turn around one day and there's a really cute girl in line at Starbucks, and she looks in your eyes and you look in hers and you feel a magnetic connection there, you can just go, "Hey, what's up? What are you up to?" You're like, "Wow, you look really tired," or whatever the fuck kind of shit that comes out of your mouth. Because I mess with people. I'll say things that are obvious. Like if I'm at Dunkin' Donuts, say it's a Sunday, and I want to eat some gut bombs on a Sunday just to have something different, and I go, there's always people there, and they look tired. They look like they've been out partying all night. And you just look at them and go, "Late night?" And they're like, "Oh," they roll their eyes, and they'll start telling you what they were up to last night, and what their girlfriends were doing, and how drunk they got, or whatever happens to be going on. But it's real easy to strike up conversations like that. And you say, "Well, seem like a nice girl. And when you get some sleep, how about we meet up for some drinks later? Are you free? And then you pause and you wait for her to respond, because if she really likes you and she really digs you, she'll go, yeah, that sounds cool. And you go, great, what's your number? And you just look down at your phone, because this is what always happens when you ask for a phone number, right? So you act as if, even if it's the first time you ever do it, you just look at it like, of course she's going to give it to you. And so you go to the screen, you start, and usually 9 times out of 10 she'll give it to you. I mean, if she likes you, she'll give it to you. But the lower her level of attraction or interest is in you, because it's an instantaneous thing. You either meet, because attraction is not a choice. You either meet her minimum standards of attraction or you don't. In other words, when she looks at you, her attitude, like I talk about in my book, 50 to 60% interest is going to be kind of when a woman looks at you and goes, hey, he's kind of cute. I think I'd go out with him. That's basically, you just barely made it. You just barely made the cut. You can do 1 or 2 things wrong, and she'll go, he's too weak, and then she won't waste her time with you, and she won't go out on a date with you. But if you handle your cards right, and you're just very easy to talk to, and you're confident, you go for what you want, because obviously if you're standing in line, you're going to be there for just maybe a few minutes, and you're gone, so it's not like you just got a half hour to sit there and chit-chat with her. It's like, I like to get right to the point, make a date in a spot. If that scares the shit out of you, then just say, I'd like to talk to you later, but I got to run. What's your number? And then just look down at your phone. As you do that, she'll give it to you and say, great, nice to meet you, Denise. I'll talk to you later. And you can text her later, try to meet her up for drinks, but it's always going to be a lot more effective if you get right to the point, right on the spot, make definite plans to meet at a definite place. So that's one thing that you need to change the way you're looking at things. And so as far as your height goes, I'd say it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. It's a limiting belief, and it's one of those stories that you tell yourself to not take any action. It's the kind of story you tell yourself that causes you to sit around and wait for, I don't know how long you waited for this girl to become single so you could get your shot. But, there's days, weeks, months going by of your life that you could have been talking to other people. You could have been getting prepared. Because here's the thing. If you just wait for that magic moment to happen where you meet somebody, because, at the end of the day, the bottom line is out of 100 women that you meet, that you find are attractive, maybe half of them are going to go, he's kind of cute, I'd kind of go out with him, where you kind of like borderline got a shot with her. But out of those 100, say about half of them kind of like you, they may go out, maybe kind of interested in you. And out of those 50, maybe you go out and you have 10 dates, and out of those 10 dates, you might only have 1 or 2, maybe 3 that you actually enjoyed hanging out, where you actually were interested when the girl was talking. And the rest of them, you might they're terrible conversationalists, or they're boring, or their conversations is bubblegum talk. It's just a bunch of nonsense because they're just not very intelligent or whatever. But the bottom line is, out of 100 women, there's only going to be a couple of them that you'll really connect with, that you'll really like, and that you'll actually enjoy going out on a date with, maybe sleeping with, hooking up with, and actually want to go out with them again. But the deal is that when you talk to enough different women, you start to see these things. And then what happens, you get comfortable, you go out on dates, and you realize, for me, since I was a kid, I've realized this, and that I've always kind of been like a love at first sight kind of guy, the type of thing where you meet somebody and just boom, there's just a magnetic, energetic connection there. It's more than just physical, because let's face it, I live in Delray Beach, and I go a couple blocks away, go down to the beach, there's fucking gorgeous women all up and down the beach. Now, am I going to find all those women interesting? Am I going to be enjoying sitting there having a conversation with them as they're talking about their lives and what they do and what they're into? Probably not. And the point being is, if you're just starting this stuff, you don't have any experience, you don't have any sensory acuity, and so you're not prepared. So if you just wait for those really intense connections, those moments of connection, before you ask a girl out or you try anything, because you've never practiced, you haven't developed your sensory acuity, and what happens is when you encounter somebody that the level of interest you have for is 100 times stronger and more intense than the average pretty girl that you meet on a day-to-day basis as you go about your life. If you're not prepared, it's going to be very hard to do the right thing. And so that's important. That's what I noticed right now just from reading through half of your email, is that you're basically sitting on the sidelines not doing anything and not practicing. And so therefore your skills aren't better. And so when an opportunity comes along, it's like you don't know how to handle it. You don't have to go after it. You don't know how to go about it because in essence you're fumbling the football, so to speak. He says, this particular girl, she loves our talks, loves my sense of humor, etc., and told me a few times we would start doing things together after her divorce, but nothing happened. And see, you sat around and you waited for the woman to be the man in the relationship. And women want a guy that's direct to the point. And so she tells you that, and you go, okay, then you just sit around twiddling your thumbs with your life and your personal life on hold, waiting for this girl to tell you that it's okay, and you'll start doing something. In other words, you're expecting her to pick up the phone, call you, be the man, invite you out for drinks and the whole 9 yards. It doesn't work that way. It really has busted my confidence. What advice do you have for vertically challenged guys like myself? Well, first off, it's a bunch of bullshit. I got a buddy of mine who got fucking blown up in Iraq, and he's missing an eye. One of his nipples is kind of like up here because he had operation. He had a traumatic brain injury. I mean, he's totally jacked up and fucked up. And so he's on disability the rest of his life. And this guy spent several years in the Army, and he's not at home sitting there going, oh, I lost my eye. Like, oh, my nipple's all fucked up, and I got scars all over my chest. He's not sitting there fucking whining. What's he doing there today? He's out at the beach fucking drinking beer, partying his ass off, having a good time and enjoying his life. He's not sitting at home feeling sorry for himself. There's plenty, when I was growing up, or I should say when my dad and my uncle were growing up, one of the kids that they grew up with across the street, he went off to Vietnam. 2 weeks later, stepped on a landline, blew both of his fucking legs off. And so for you to sit there and whine about your height only being 5 foot or 5'4", I'm sorry, dude, but it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of nonsense. It's a limiting belief. It's the way you bullshit yourself into not doing anything at all, and you need to think about it. You need to think about what you're saying, because my buddy who's missing his eye and whose body's all jacked up, and he's got a traumatic brain injury, and he gets bad headaches all the time, and he's got a lot of physiological problems because of getting blown up. Obviously, it's not a natural thing, but it doesn't stop him from going out. And, he meets women left and right and hooks up and gets laid all the time, and he's having a fucking ball because he doesn't let what's happened to him define who he is. And just the fact that you're 5 foot or 5'2", whatever it happens to be, God made you that way for a reason. He had a purpose in mind when he designed you the way he designed you. And so instead of whining about it, you should be grateful for it. And women are going to view you how you view yourself. And if you think, oh, I'm too short, nobody's going to like me, that's usually how you bullshit yourself and not doing anything, not talking to anybody, not doing anything to get your skills any better, and sitting around waiting on women like this to do all the work for you. So he says, I've had some success with women back in college right after I graduated from for the USAL. I guess he was in the Air Force. He says, my confidence was strong back then. How do I get it back? It's never left. It's simply a state of mind. Can you address this for me? And first thing is that you got to be doing something you really love and you have a passion for a living. So if you're not excited about your life already, then you need to start looking into maybe making a career change, or maybe starting a business on the side, looking at doing something that lights you up and that excites you, so you have something to get excited about in life. Because it's not about the women, it's about you having a great life and loving who you are and being happy with who you are, learning to talk to people, learning to interact with them, so you overcome your shyness. And then when you see a girl that you like or that you're connecting to, just ask her the phone number and make a date with her. Simple as that. Repetition's the mother of skill. And so, you're 40 years old now. It's like, when are you going to get around to starting living your life? I know my buddies that have been in combat and have come back all fucked up. It's like they don't let that hold them back at all in their life. They're grateful to still be alive because they had buddies that didn't come back. And so you're here, and the way you can honor their memories is to live your life as fully as you can, to take care of yourself and to be at your very best, because you know why? They fucking deserve it. They sacrifice their life so that we can have freedom. When you can sit on YouTube and watch YouTube videos on how to improve your life, how to become better and more successful with women, etc.